Dr. Yael is a PhD in gerontology, and she's the head of Aging 2.0 in Israel. Yael is a managing director of a venture fund affiliated with Mediterranean Tower, an organization that runs seniors facilities of independent living and nursing. Yael will share with us a review about innovation and trends of using technology in elderly care. Yael, take over.
Hello to all of you. I'm the CEO of Mediterranean Towers Venture. I'm the chairperson of Technologies for Aging Well, which represent the organization named Aging 2.0. It's an international organization dealing with technologies and aging. And I am the board member of the Israel Gerontology Society. Our fund, Mediterranean Towers Ventures, was launched in July 17. We are part of Mediterranean Towers Group, which operates independent living facilities in Israel. Our portfolio companies, of course, have access to all our residents. And we have what we call in-residence program that give all entrepreneurs from Israel and from all over the world an opportunity to do a pilot with our residents, to send some questionnaires or to do focus group. We are running the annual startup competition, the only one in Israel. And of course, we help Israeli companies or other companies to know the competition and to expand all over the world. So a little bit about the market. I will be quick because I don't want to repeat my colleagues. I think there are two facts that are the most important fact when we are talking about the aging population. The first one is that the segment of the population that will grow the most in the upcoming years is that of the 80 years and above, and they have different needs from the young older adults that are age 65 to 80. And the second fact is that the productive population, the ratio between the productive population and the service consumers are getting lower and lower. It means that there will be not enough people to give the services to a growing population, and we as a society, we will not have any solution other than to develop technologies to solve these problems. Another fact that is very important is that the new elderly population is a population with awareness to the quality of life. They are ready to make behavioral changes and to adopt technologies for their benefit. They are used to technologies. They adopt technologies when they were working. Now they are 65 or 70, so there were technologies when they are still working, and they are willing to adopt technology. In recent years, there has been an increase in the standard of living, in the consumption, and in the wealth of this population. So a little bit about the market. We have spoken about it. The aging economy is estimated in $27 trillion. As you can see by year in my presentation, you can see that there is a 21 annual growth every year in what we call the aging economy. And the age tech, the technology potential is estimated as 10% of it. That means $2.7 trillion. It's a huge market. And this is why all the big companies, Apple and IBM and Amazon, everybody's looking on this space, because they know that this is a huge market and there is a lot of potential and not enough technologies. So how we can, in what spaces do we see the technologies? Aging 2.0 has defined 8 segments in which we can see technologies: engagement and purpose, financial, wellness, mobility and movement, daily living and lifestyle, caregiving, care coordination, brain health, and end of life. These are the segments, but we can also look at the space of the age tech space by looking who is our end user. Is it the older adult? Is the service provider, the caregiver, or the government? And each one of them has different expectations. And one fact that we must acknowledge is that the payer is not necessarily the one that is using the technology in the end, and it affects our design. So I want to focus a little bit on the future of caregiving. The patient profile of today, what we see today, is an older adult. He's 65 years and above. He has 2 or more chronic diseases. Usually we meet him in the acute phase when there is a worsening of one of the chronic disease. He has an infection, ischemic heart disease, ischemic renal disease, diabetic, Alzheimer's, and so on. We treat him, we put him back in balance. He's going through the chronic disease to a chronic phase, and then we meet him again when there is another crisis and he's again in the acute phase. Usually we need a primary caregiver in order that this cycle, to succeed in this cycle and to bring him back to balance. But the patient of tomorrow, the one that we want to treat, we will meet him in his chronic phase, and our goal is to keep him in his chronic phase so he can live independently and healthy living and grow old, aging well. So the profile of the patient is 65 years and above. He has 2 or more chronic diseases, but he is in balance. And what we need to do is really address the 3 Ps. We need to have a predictive medicine, a preventive medicine, and a personalized medicine. And how we can do it? We can do it by using technology, collecting data, AI, machine learning, robotics, and so on. So I don't have a lot of time, but I want to give you 2 examples and 2 short videos. So you will have a sense of what is technologies for aging well. And of course, I will give you examples of 2 Israeli companies. The first one, I think Oren talked about it, is a personal robot, but it's not just a social robot, it's also a medical robot. It's called Meditemi. It's a home care robot. It can give you all sorts of reminders to drink water, to take your blood pressure, and so on. It connects through videos with your family or with your doctors. In case of emergency, the robot can contact emergency assistant, and he can move around the house. You can call him and he will approach you, or the caregiver can navigate the robot in the apartment at any time and anywhere using his smartphone. Another company, we've talked about nursing homes and about activities for people that suffer from dementia. Obi is a highly advanced interactive gaming console that is based on the ceiling and project games on the table, on the wall, or on the floor. So you can do activities while sitting, standing, or moving around the room. So let's continue. A little bit about the barriers, because everything is not so easily adopted. And the question is why? I think the first barrier is a lack of knowledge of the entrepreneurs about how to segmentize the elderly population. The elderly population are not unique. They are very diverse. There are people that are young, older adults, older adults with high independent activities or need help, and you need to segmentize your population and to know who you are addressing. The second barrier is that we have a lot of technologies in the market, wonderful technologies, but if they are not connected to the needs of the population, we find what I call technology is looking for a problem. We as an investors, we are not looking for products, we are looking for new services that are based on technologies, because people do not collect products just to have them in their house. I think there are high expectations from technology, especially from the older adult side. If there is a mismatch in the expectations, there is a disappointed, and if an older adult disappointed from his success to adopt technology, there can be 2 things. Or he will say the technology is not good enough and I will adopt another technology. Or he will say I'm not good enough and I'm too old and I cannot learn new things, and he will leave it on and never try another technology. I think another barrier is that entrepreneurs expect people to change their behavior. They will not change their behavior. The behavior should be more technology. For example, if I'm used to write in the calendar what I have to do in my week, then the calendar should be synchronized with my computer, with my television, and so on, and not now to adopt a new application in my smartphone, because I will not get used to it. I need to continue and write on the calendar, but the calendar will be a smart one. I think we still have a bad and stigmatic design. Everybody that is designing a new product should think about if somebody needs the product or wants the product. If he doesn't want the product, he will not buy it even if he needs it. So the design should be very unique, very attractive. If I don't want to buy the product, nobody will want, even if I'm old. There is still a complicated operating instructions. We all know that when we get a new device, there is a book of instructions or a link to a website. This will not work when we are talking about the older adults. And we need a lot of support for a long time, not just the support in the adaptation, but to continue and support the older adults while he's using the technology. The prices are still high, but it's like when we had the new cellular phone, the prices are high at the beginning and as low as we continue, and there are a lot of devices in the market, the prices would go lower and lower. And we must acknowledge the model of payment. As I've said, it's not necessarily the one that are paying for the products are the one that are using it in the end. We must know it and we must pay attention.
Yael, I'm afraid we'll have to conclude.
1 minute. Two last barriers is that older adults are still afraid of sharing data. There's nothing we can do about it. We lost in that battle. Everybody's sharing data. And there is a fear of failure. We must think about which technology is fit for which person. There are passive technologies and active technologies. Passive technologies is like a smart home that will do all the work for you. And active technology is something that you will have to activate. You have to segmentize your population. You have to know your customer and address the technology according to the activity. This is my contact. If you are looking for technologies, if you want some advice, please contact me. There are a lot of technologies. I personally saw more than 300 just Israeli technologies. So I will be happy to share knowledge with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Yael. We'll see you in the panel.